And hello, it is the Saturday Coffee Klatch. I'm Heather Lofthouse. This is W. Kamau Bell.
And I was bouncing a little bit.
I know. From the music? We need music. We need to bring the music back. So Robert Reich is on a vacation. Isn't that exciting for him?
I've read about those.
Yeah.
I've read about vacations. I have 3 young children. I don't know about
Well, he doesn't really do it much. He's with family for 2 days.
He's earned
Does that
it.
count as a vacation?
No. That's not. We need to take the word vacation back for what it should mean. When you get to do whatever you want to do, not whatever a group of people that you're related to agrees to do.
That's a trip.
Yeah.
That's not a vacation.
Yeah.
So Bob will be back next week, and here we are. So we've got to cover the news of the week. I don't know. Can we leak? I want to feel a little bit of hope in addition to some outrage.
That's important.
I feel like that's nice to can we run the gamut of the emotions? So maybe we start with, God forbid, Donald Trump.
That's not the hope part, right?
No.
That's the outrage part.
That's the outrage.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm clear about where we're at.
Yeah.
I'm not on the wrong podcast.
So, Iran, we're continuing with Iran.
Not going well is what I wrote down.
Yeah.
Still not going well.
And so what I saw this week was the representative of the Revolutionary Guard who was on PBS, and I found that conversation fascinating. First of all, because they never talked to the Western media, and then he was saying stuff like, this is a war without a strategy, and we're going to stick with this war as long as we can to prove that we are winning this war.
And you've sent it to me, and I hadn't seen it. It's pretty remarkable. I guess just because of the pace of news and things, and also it was PBS. It's not like mainstream. Blah, 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 blah. It's not like it's CBS. That maybe it got lost. But yeah, is this guy saying he was happy to sit down and talk? Obviously, you can't trust everything this guy says.
No.
But he basically sounded like he'd been listening to this podcast. He'd been watching this because he said a lot of things about the United States doesn't have a plan. They change it every 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
It's Congress should investigate Trump's wealth. It's like check.
Relative to the war.
Yeah,
He's you should really see before and after.
Yeah, how much money him and his family are worth before the war versus after the war.
It's kind of amazing to watch the head of this. I mean, it's been designated a terrorist organization. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, but it's it's like the art of war. Sun Tzu says when he's watching his enemy make mistakes and he's just pointing them out. Like you don't stop your enemy from making mistakes. You just go, look, you're really making some mistakes. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's horrific. And then since the last podcast, we haven't even covered. Well, you weren't here last time.
No, so I really didn't cover.
So
I didn't cover anything the last podcast.
You have not. No, you have not.
I really let
talked
the whole
about this with
podcast
us.
down. Yeah.
The decoy experiment where Trump got in a different plane, got in the catering container.
Yeah. I mean, and also apparently, so you see him get on Air Force One. Mm-hmm. Apparently, once he got on, his team told all the journalists people on Air Force One to let their shades down.
No.
Which they don't normally tell them to do. Yeah,
right.
I've heard this on NPR. Let the shades down so that when he got off, they wouldn't see him get off. Because it's like a classic magic trick. I'm going to get in the box, and you leave out the back of the box.
Right.
And then you're out of the box.
Right.
And so then if you watch the footage, you can see movement behind of this catering truck. But yeah, and then he left a ton of his closest people, including journalists and also a ton of his close people on the decoy plane, including one Marco Rubio, who has ambitions of being the next president, and yet he left you on the decoy plane.
I know it. And not that he would have gotten. Did he get through TSA with his big shoes? I'm surprised he even got through.
They have to check him to make sure he's not trying to smuggle things through. Yeah,
with all his big shoes.
With his giant
shoes. Does he still wear those?
Gifted
by Trump?
I'm sure he does. My kids love that story. That's their favorite political story. Is Marco Rubio's big shoes?
Really?
Yeah. My 8-year-old knows that story.
Yeah, but it's kind of wild to see who he handpicked, who's in the little fiefdom. He's like, Pete Hegseth will take you.
Yeah, and I think it's just amazing because, again, if you're Marco Rubio, and first of all, Marco Rubio is one of the he's like a Shakespearean, like character of comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he wasn't so dangerous. But and just imagine him sitting on that, like the way he said, that meme of him sitting in the Oval Office while Trump is yelling at Zelensky, just sitting on the plane. Where are you going, Don? Where are you going, President? And then later he finds out what was happening.
It's horrific. But also, so this Trump, he's a man who says we're fine, Iran's fine, we're winning. I mean, it's all lies.
Yeah.
At the same time that he is getting out of Dodge and protecting himself from a real threat. And we don't admit those things. And then he goes golfing.
Yep.
And he has. Do you want to tell this story?
Yeah, he first of all, he's a great golfer, but only when he's on his own courses that he owns. He regularly wins golfing on his courses, but nobody else's courses. But yeah, so he apparently went golfing and apparently I don't even know how this is explained, but there's like a missile defense system right next to him as he's golfing, so that in case in case Iran sends a missile across the ocean to wherever he is in Florida or whatever, that he's got a missile defense system right there so he can continue his golf game?
I don't know. And the optics.
Yeah.
But he's such a loser.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't have military know-how. He doesn't have people around him. It's like we are on this world stage. People are dying. And it's so horrific to watch at the same time that clearly he knows this is a threat.
Well, and obviously people around him are starting to understand that maybe this is not going as well as I thought. As you know, I would love to know why Caroline Leavitt resigned. I feel like part of it is because she was like, maybe I wouldn't make the plane either. Maybe he wouldn't have pulled me off. I would have been sitting there next to Marco Rubio.
Right, it's too touch and go.
Yeah. That you don't know that clearly this is not going well again. And it seems to always go well for him, but it doesn't go well for the people around him.
Yeah.
So yeah, Caroline Leavitt stepping down. But yeah, I always think of this when I was a kid. For good or for bad, mostly there was generally a country that we made fun of for being run ridiculously.
Yeah.
There would be like a country that we would all be every late night talk show host, which at the time was just Johnny Carson. That's how old I am. But would be like that's the international punchline is this one country for various ridiculous reasons.
Right.
It's us.
I know it.
We're the ridiculous country now. That even like you said, the Republican Guard guy could be like they're really messing up over there.
Yeah, Revolutionary Guard.
Revolutionary Guard.
Yeah, exactly. But it's so, I don't know I am hopeful that people are paying more and more attention. Like it's more evidence by the minute of what a buffoon he is. And
how it's ruining our international standing and how it's going to have lasting effects, even if, and I cross my fingers, even if he's out of office when he's supposed to be in a few years, that the effects are going to take generations to fix.
Right.
You know? It's not all going to be as easy as taking his name off the Kennedy Center, which he's trying to put his name back on the Kennedy Center.
And he was allegedly on the board meeting for almost 2 hours.
Yeah,
that's what he's spending his time doing.
Meanwhile, the Strait of Hormuz is not. Yeah,
right.
we can't get things through there. But he's on this board meeting at the. Yeah, so that's where he's focusing his time. I mean, that's why I think maybe we'll talk about this later. But when you look at like these elections around the country where there are sort of more left-leaning candidates who are stepping up, that and that that's the only hope is that these, as far as I'm concerned, is that that the Democratic Party allows these younger, more muscular voices to and I don't mean that physically. I mean, although Abdullah El-Sayed looks like he does some lifting, but to step forward and really go after those voters who maybe voted for Trump but are like, this is not what I voted for. Yeah, but they have to be empowered to do that. And
so this week, I mean, lots of shouting in the media about how the progressives lost or only won by a little bit. Yeah, in Wisconsin.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Trump has a mandate, right? That's what he told us. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a mandate with his whatever it is voters. But so Francesca Hong lost by 3,800 or something votes, which, by the way, is the size of the high school my kid is going to go to here in Berkeley.
You lost by a Berkeley high.
Yeah. It's not that many people, but still, it's been interesting to see how the press really loves to get some digs into the, far left side of the progressive wing. They're like, look at you all, this centrist.
And it's also about the going, because apparently, and I hate talking about polls. I hate talking about polls. I hate it.
It's the polar coaster.
That's the idea that
buckle up.
The poll said this. She was supposed to be up by, I saw somewhere it said she was up by 12 points. But then in reality, and then the pollsters were like, hey, that's not fair. Those polls are delayed. So the minute you see the poll, it's already from the past. And then there's also the time before and I'm like, then maybe we should stop talking about these out loud.
Right.
I mean, I get that the candidate needs the polls, but let's stop putting these things out here as if they're fact.
Right.
Because as we've seen, regularly they are not fact. And they're only confusing to people. As we know, there's been like who was the woman from Iowa who predicted
Jay Ann Seltzer.
The longtime Iowa pollster who's like, I'm never wrong. Kamala's going to win in a landslide.
Yeah.
and she lost. And then when Kamala lost, I think that lady just quietly like, I'm resigning.
Oh, yeah. The next day, she put the close sign on the poll shop.
And I'm old enough to
remember.
She
was with the Des Moines Register for years.
And that was like a major outlet that was one of those places that you look at how Des Moines is going, so goes America. Yeah. So I hate. I mean, I stopped sort of paying any attention to polls that, I remember when Nate Silver was white liberal Jesus. I remember that. And, now I don't want to hear him recommend a coffee spot. Like, I just don't want to hear anything. I don't want.
But what's interesting is, so Hong polled similar to how people voted. So they were like, oh, no. Her polls were right, but it was Crowley whose polls were wrong. And so those were the wrong ones, but the other ones were the right ones this time.
Oh, fair enough.
This time.
Oh, fair enough. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Let's keep doing polls then. Let's keep doing polls.
Crazy surge, but it is interesting to think about non-response bias. So it's like, who are the people that are not responding to the surveys or don't respond with as much energy and truth? Because progressives are, and it depends how you do them. I think Jay Ann Seltzer, she used to, she famously spent a lot of money doing phone calls. Randomized real people. Who are you going to vote for? What'd you do?
But also, who's answering that call? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Random people on the other line.
But if you get a call on your phone that said
times have changed. I don't know how you do polling now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but like even the fact that it's random people, but random people who have to answer the phone,
right? And are willing to continue the conversation.
Ooh, a phone call from a person I don't know. Exciting.
Yeah.
like who's answering that call?
I know.
Yeah.
My mom might.
Yeah, exactly.
She's pretty liberal with the answering. I'm like, don't answer that.
Yeah. No, so I understand. I want to be clear. I'm not anti-data. I'm not anti-science. But I think the problem is, and goes across industries, it's the same way that now you see people arguing about the box office grosses for like the Odyssey. And like, it's got to make at least $1 billion. Right. Really, guy who drives an Uber? You really know? You're really invested in this idea? And nothing against people who drive Ubers, but I'm saying like, we get caught up in this data as if this data is applicable to us and if there's something we can get out of this data, when really we don't even have enough information to know what the data is telling us.
Right. And also the fact that these, like one election, one primary is like, look, now we know everything.
Yes, that's the other part.
And this is going to tell us everything about the presidential in 2 years. And see, we told you so about this part of the party. But I have to remember, so you can get caught up online and then you look in the comments on X. I mean, why would you do that? You cannot do that. It is so disgusting to look there. But to watch the progressives come out and the centrists come out and the name call. It's not, I mean, some of it's
fun.
Mean. What?
I said fun.
Yeah. But I mean, I have to think, okay, these people really want to win. I mean, that's the thing. They really want Donald Trump and MAGA far away from us. So both, I think a lot of people are really, there's a desperation. And they're like, I really think the moderate's going to win. I really think it's the DSA candidate who will save us from everything. There's this
also
pressure.
I think there is a sense from and this is why I think a lot of the progressives don't trust, and the DSA is a part of that, is that the Democratic establishment is also just trying to hold on to power.
Yeah, of course.
So the idea that, like, I remember CNN, and I like this guy generally, Donny O'Sullivan did a story on CNN called The Left Insurgency. Basically, that was describing the voices on the left as being insurgent to the Democratic Party. It was like, no, they're a part of the Democratic Party,
right? And
they're deciding to sort of like they're deciding to flex their muscle and to run for, because again, these are people who are running for smaller offices. This is not like some sort of Green Party thing where every 4 years they're like, we're running for president again.
Right.
These are people who are actually like doing organizing on the local level and building power, which as a Democrat you should want. And yet to call it an insurgency and then to compare it to the Tea Party is totally missing the idea of what these two forces want to accomplish.
That's exactly it.
And so MAGA wants destruction, and people on the extreme left generally want universal health care.
Right.
And trans people to be left alone and to be left to their own devices, and want good education, and they want the
voting
rights, and they want the criminal justice system to be fair and just maybe, so to call it an insurgency and to hear like sort of mainstream high level Democrats, like they talk to James Carville, like to be sort of really like putting down these people. And it's like, you just sound like you're trying to hold on to power. You don't sound like you don't want what's best for the country. You know, you're more interested in power. And the same thing like with the Ken Martin didn't release the autopsy on the election for Kamala Harris, which is like, yeah, because you know that will mean people will be like, oh, you're not good at this.
Yeah.
We should get somebody else.
Right. So that was the DNC, right? And they didn't. And then everyone's like, well, there are a few chapters that were left out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, there's nothing in here about Palestine or Gaza. It's
right.
weird. It's weird. That didn't come into factor at all.
Yeah. And then we also have to talk about, while we're still sort of on Trump too, and I mean, could we ever not talk about that guy? I'm so excited. Last Klatch, I was counting down the days. It was like 860 more days of Trump.
Hopefully.
Which seems like a lot of days. Better be.
I just feel like we have to say hope. Well, if we all do our part, viewers, to make sure that when that day comes, that we're outside the White House being like, time to come out, man.
Right.
Your lease is up.
Right.
Your lease is up. It's time to come out.
And you can't redo the Constitution.
Nope. And you can't extend it 30 days. You can't do. Who's the leader? Is it Daniel Ortega, who was like, no more elections?
Right.
It's like, oh, an 80-year-old world leader saying no more elections.
Yeah.
We don't need that. So I don't want to give Trump any ideas. So I say, hopefully, because I think we all who are watching this right now have to make sure we're ready if he's like, I think I'm not ready to go yet.
I don't even want to think about that.
I'm going to make you think about it.
That's
so anyway, back to what you were saying.
So back to the hope.
Yeah. Okay, back to the hope.
Okay, but no, but what I was saying is that the latest figure that came out in the Washington Post this week about how, you know, his renovations and his remodel, $900 million.
$900 million. I'm looking at it right here. Yeah, $900
million, which is, by the way, like the annual budget of certain decent-sized, mid-sized cities in America. And that includes fire departments, school districts. Yeah. Like, that is a lot of money, $900 million.
And it's also a lot of renovations for a guy who's allegedly, if you think he doesn't think he's going to be living there 3 years.
And that Congress, by the way, hasn't approved.
And it's partially taxpayers' money, but then partially just donors.
Yeah.
Just donors.
Just donors.
Just donors who want the White House to have granite marble tops and countertops.
That they're going to come hang out.
Yeah, just
get
donors.
Some tax breaks.
Yep, and get some access to power.
Do you remember when Bill Clinton was in so much trouble for the Lincoln bedroom?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So basically it was like, you know, they were his friends who happened to stay there on the one hand. On the other hand, they were donors of over $100K and they met a certain threshold. And it was the scandal. How dare you? This is against federal law. You cannot. And here we have donors gilding. I mean, there's probably going to be like a paint your own chandelier day where they're going to get to come in.
They'll probably start leasing it out like an Airbnb. It'll probably be like that.
Yeah.
Donors who, if you gave enough money, you can stay in you can stay in the White House bedroom with me if you want to.
Yeah.
Know? So I think the grift is out loud and in public and recurring and at all levels. I mean, you probably all talked about the Freedom 250 celebration and how it was just a series of grifts on grifts on grifts.
I like returning to that though, and how unsuccessful it was.
How unsuccessful it was, and how nobody felt the freedom, and how the states didn't even show up. Some states didn't even show up for the little booze.
No,
nope.
Just like some random jugglers out there.
Yep. And so I think that the thing we have to be aware of is that the grift is always going to be grifting, and they're always going to do it in public. And this is again, we have to call it out. You can't get so exhausted by this that you don't call it out.
Yeah. And I think there are multiple ways to call it out. I mean, we do messaging, at Inequality Media Civic Action. Mm-hmm. It's like you call it out on a podcast and you describe it and you put different frameworks on it and you add some comedy to it and you process it together, I think, is one way to do it. But then also you do actual fact-based explainers and you have to do it in a way where you're not breeding cynicism. It's really hard because if you keep saying, look how screwed up it is, look how bad he is, without giving any kind of suggestion of what we can do.
A life raft.
Right.
Or a rope.
It's really actually counterproductive.
No, I think you can't wallow in it. I think you got to call it out and then figure out what can I do, even in my small way, to make the way in my podcast is like, what can you make sure this week you do something for yourself,
Yeah.
for your community, and for the world. You have to still focus on the circles you can control.
That's Who's With Me.
That's Who's With Me.
Kamau's podcast,
My
which is also a Substack.
Which is also a Substack.
I saw Margaret Cho you had on.
Yes, I did.
Earlier this week.
Yeah.
She is so fantastic.
She's great, and I think she sort of, as happens to women across the world, but certainly across comedy, not necessarily getting the respect she deserves as a trailblazer, and as someone who really has had effects on now multiple generations of comedians, specifically Asian American comedians who have like grown up with her as always being a powerful voice out there, but also just. I say in my write-up about it, like weirdo comedians. Like I consider myself to be one of those where it's like, if Margaret can do it, I can do it. So yeah, she's certainly, she certainly deserves all her flowers, which is how I start every episode. Yeah.
Who else have you had on your pod?
We had Maria Bamford, another comedian. We had a young Mr. Robert Reich early on in the podcast. We had Ted Danson.
Ted Danson was such a good one.
That was a good one. Yeah, we had Ted Danson. Kristen Kish from Top Chef was great because she came on and wanted to ask me questions about comedy, which was great. So there was we've had some really Delroy Lindo, Oakland's own, who Academy Award nominated, should have won for Sinners. Yeah, we've had a great variety of people coming. And next week we have Sarah Seidner from CNN, who my old CNN work buddy.
What's so neat is you do this intersection of pop culture and politics. And comedy.
We had Latifah Simon on early on. Yeah. I really do. It's funny. I want to make sure I don't have too many comedians on in a row because I really want people to know I'm not just talking to comedians,
right.
and also the comedians I want comedians I really want to talk to. But to me, this is the great thing about the podcast is like I get to actually let my curiosity follow me, as opposed to a lot of times I feel like the news is handing me homework assignments. It's like, guess I got to talk about the USA Lincoln, you know what I mean? Like, so, which is fine, but I really want to have conversations that are actually feeding me too, and all of these are feeding me. Yeah.
And also, I think the Lincoln, that's so scary, the ship, should we talk about that?
Yeah, we should
haven't talked about that.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
So this week, one sailor jumped off of the boat. They've been at sea for 200 days, which is one of the longest.
Setting a modern day record for consecutive days at sea, and they're off the coast. They're in the Middle East. Aircraft carrier has been deployed for more than 250 days after being redirected to the Middle East to support U.S. operations in the war with Iran, a war that is not going well. So they're just sitting there in case something happens. And they've not made a port of call in more than 200 days. And usually they say you're allowed to make a port of call every month or so, just so you can actually get off the boat and walk around and actually have some fun. And
morale boost. I mean, if you're serving this role in the middle of the water and you have to be sharp and helping planes land and take off, I mean, you better be able to take a breath on somewhere that's not that, and also the bathrooms aren't working, and what else is it?
But I found out today that they call fruit and vegetables freshies, and they've run out of freshies, which to me is like which affects your mental health. Like all of this is affecting. They had this guy
and
jump
the mail
off,
is delayed, but the bathrooms, the fact that they have to go across to the other side of the boat to use the bathrooms and the drinking fountains.
Again, for a war, an unpopular war that we started and immediately started losing the minute we started it.
And that's a confounding factor from what we're hearing from the families and people who are saying they feel like, what are we doing
This
out
is
here?
not World War II where we're taking down Hitler, where it's like that, which would still be bad, but you'd be like, okay, we're here for a noble mission. This is a war that we shouldn't have started, that we've spent over $30 billion on, that we're running out of missiles, and you're just off the coast of this without any, and they're not giving you a deadline. By this date, this will be over, and so they're really talking a lot about how the mental health of these people on the carrier has been affected.
But Kamau, these are Republicans. They care about troops. They are patriots.
This is what it's again. The grift this is a part of the grift too. Republicans have spent all my life, and I'm very, very old. Convinced.
I am older than you are. Where's Bob when you need him?
I know, exactly. Saying we're good at military. We're good at war. We're good at military. We're good at protecting our country. And all this is showing us is that they aren't even taking care of the military. That's the bare minimum of what Republicans are supposed to do. They're supposed to know how to do military. And so it's really all you MAGA people or people out there who have relatives who are MAGA, this is the thing where you go, what is this? Because this is the bare minimum of what the Republican Party promises us, and they're doing a horrible job. And really, when you hear these stories about there's about people thinking about unaliving themselves and all these things. It's just like it is disgusting. And this is the party that's supposed to be at the very minimum good at this. I never thought I'd quote the Iranian. Was it the guard?
The Revolutionary Guard.
You know, if you check Trump's pockets and bank accounts, he's doing great.
Yeah,
he's doing great. While these service people can't get fresh fruit and bathrooms are bad and they're going through mental health challenges.
So I read about this and then I think, oh well, you know, Pete Hegseth, maybe he'll be out. Maybe he's been in there a long time as these things go.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh no, he made that plane. He got on the plane.
Yeah, Trump got him.
It seems like he's not on the way out yet.
Pete Hegseth strikes me as knowing how to kiss butt. There's something about Pete Hegseth that says that dude knows how to kiss. Because he also knows he shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Like
so he's got to be so
I was a weekend
careful.
Fox News host.
Right.
He knows what butt to kiss and how to kiss it. He is not. He will be there till the end, and he knows that there's nothing higher he can ever achieve than this. Like Marco Rubio still have hopes of being the president. Also, whatever he is, he was a senator, and he has earned a little level of position. I don't respect him in any way. But Pete Hegseth was like, I was a fill-in weekend host on Fox News, and now I'm in charge of the military.
Yeah. Don't screw it up.
Yeah. If you want to enjoy some Pete Hegseth, there's the video out right now of him. He's in the back of a clip, and he wipes his nose and then puts it in his hair.
No, I missed that.
I know Bob would not normally talk about that, but as we're talking about Pete Hegseth, this is what I do. Yeah.
I just like when they get him working out and he doesn't know how to do anything. He doesn't do a kettlebell right. He's supposed to be so military.
Yeah, he's not.
He's bad at all
I love
stuff.
seeing, and it's often a lot of times it's like women who are athletes going, that's all wrong.
Right, exactly.
And
he's kind of looking and like, let's go. And then he does it completely bad form.
Yep. Which is like, it's fine if you do that, but then don't act like you know what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, we all start somewhere.
Meanwhile, Trump's police state continues.
This story is wild. Like, this is absolutely, like, it's such a wild story that I saw people I know and respect when I put it up on Instagram go, is this AI?
Which story is that one?
This is the story that apparently ICE, I guess it's been decided, is getting electric shock gloves.
Oh, right. GLOVE. It's like an acronym for something.
Of course it is. But like gloves that look like normal gloves, just look like black gloves. But if you hit a switch on them or a button, then if you touch somebody with them, it's like a James Bond weapon or something. It's like a Spider-Man villain. You know what I mean? Like
it's painful.
It's a painful shock, and these are gloves. And it's just the idea that you would think like this is the way that's why supervillain is the right term, because anybody who would think to invent these is thinking like a supervillain.
Yeah.
They're not thinking like law enforcement.
Well, also they're not thinking, call me crazy, about civil rights and and humanity.
Yeah, that's what like a supervillain would.
The thing about this is, so with tasers, it leaves a mark.
Yeah.
So you're like, can't say you didn't tase.
Yeah.
But this is very covert.
Yes.
And this is very, you can't prove that it's been done. Mm-hmm. And it's so manipulative. I mean, it is terrifying.
And also it's like I remember when police started to get the police department started to get their budgets increased, and they started buying like tanks, weapons of war.
Yeah.
And if you have those weapons, you feel like you got to use them. And suddenly they'd be like, "Oh, there's a protest at the farmers market," and then a tank would show up at the farmers market because they're like, "We want to ride." They want to use these things, and this is like if you give these to ICE, absolutely, people are going to be getting shocked left and right for nothing.
Did you just say in shock? Literally.
In shock. And what'd you say?
They're actually in shock.
Yeah.
Shocked.
Yes.
It's so scary and disgusting, and it falls in line with the fact that so much money is still being put into ICE.
Yep, and so much money is put into weapons of war and weapons into law enforcement things that are not actually helping justice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was the woman this week, too, who had her dash cam on and was accused by ICE. You're following us, you're tracking us, you're trying to run us over. And this ICE representative,
I think they're called goon.
Yeah, the goon came up with the gun.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm really not. And she happened to have this dash cam.
I think this woman, because you see at the beginning of the clip, I'm seeing a lot of these clips of regular citizens who like encounter ICE and just start swearing at them. Brave people, because people could get hurt doing this because ice doesn't care. So she drives past them and sees them and like swears at them. They get mad and they pull her over, and that's when the ice guy's like, "You tried to run us over," and she's like, "I got dash cam. I didn't do that. I can show you right here." And they sort of eventually slink back into their car. I love watching ice people retreat when they know they're caught. They just sort of slink back into the car without saying anything. But because she had dash cam, which I don't think, luckily, I think she probably knows that she's going to come across some law enforcement that is going to lie, and so she had dash cam footage going. Yeah. And I think that, like, as we see people all around the country pulling down flock cameras, and the ACLU is suing about flock cameras, it's like, in the end, ICE is getting shock gloves, but also not wearing body cams. So people are like taking it, and she had her cell phone out and her dash cam going, so she had it covered from multiple angles.
They are made in America, Kentucky. So manufacturing is doing okay.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. That's good. But yeah, like, I think that you're seeing more and more of these clips of people confronting ICE who feel like they're in a position they can do it because they either are citizens or they don't, But also, you have to stand up. Everybody's got to figure out a way to stand up, and some people feel like, whenever I see them, I'm going to swear at them and curse them out. Yeah.
But also, another person died at Delaney Hall. Another person who was being detained, an immigrant. I mean, this is horrific stuff. And I took my child to the pediatrician the other day, and she was like, "Are you on a podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Can I just ask you about ICE and the polls? I'm really worried." In voting booths.
Okay.
I'm really worried about the election.
Oh, yeah.
And so I said, "You're not wrong to be doing that." But I also have to think that if anything happens, it is going to be so big. I have to think that citizens, please.
I think that's true, but think about a place like Texas, where people, especially if you're a Latino American or Mexican American in Texas, and even if you are a citizen, you can be harassed by ICE. You don't have to put ICE directly outside the polling place.
No.
It doesn't have to be as like elaborate as ICE standing outside like this. It's just in the area.
Also,
or just putting out the word that you're in the area.
Also, if you've looked on Twitter or the news in the past year, you could say, there's no way I'm risking that.
You don't have to even I think we think of this as like a big show of force, which sometimes they do. But all you have to do is say, we might be there, and it's going to suppress the vote. And it's going to suppress the vote for, elderly white women who are just afraid of getting caught up in the fray. You know what I mean? So it's just, I think the idea being that they don't even have to show up with ICE all geared up. They can just put out the word that we might do it, and it can suppress the vote.
And we already had issues getting people out to vote.
Yeah,
we don't have enough voting from home / mail-in voting.
No.
God knows.
Everybody's not California where you just get it mailed to you and you just send it back or drop it in a thing. Yeah,
I know, and there are boxes everywhere.
Yeah.
And then the other thing in the news, so I'm from LA, so I've seen the Lakers play. And I know
I've seen the Lakers play.
I'm
here for the sports report.
Speaking of age, when I got to see Shaq and Kobe. That was fun. Those were the days. And I love
that that's the days of the Lakers.
No, but I also saw back in the day. Why did I just forget his name?
Magic Johnson. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah. Showtime.
Magic Johnson.
With the short shorts. Yeah.
But so tell us, because I know you've been tracking what's been happening on this.
Big NBA fan. I'm also just generally, I feel like sports is often a place to track America as much as politics is. So I pay a lot of attention to just sports in general. So historically, the Lakers of your era were owned by Jeannie Buss, or the Buss family, I should say. The Buss family. Her dad, Jerry Buss, was like one of the classic sports team owners. He would go to the club with the players and loved owning a sports team, loved being a part of it. When he got to the Lakers, they weren't that good. In his time, they became the Showtime Lakers of like Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And then he died, but the Buss family owned the Lakers. And there was a time where sports teams were just owned by like real estate developers or some local guy who had a business that did well, so then he bought the local sports team. People who lived in the area who wanted to own the local sports team. Well, that has changed. Now sports teams are owned by billionaires and venture capitalists who are like, I don't have a sports team in my portfolio.
Right.
So 9 months ago, Mark Walter, who's a billionaire, who owns the Dodgers and has really done a lot to turn the Dodgers around. They've won a lot. They've won the World Series recently a couple times because he's really done a lot to professionalize. He's used his financial knowledge to
here we go.
Yeah, to we need 1.1 of these and 8.2 of these, and
quantitative skills is really next level.
And also baseball doesn't have a salary cap, so you can just spend as much money as you want. So it makes it easier if you're rich to just. So 9 months ago, he bought the Lakers from the Buss family, and everybody was surprised because the Busses have owned the Lakers forever. But the Busses are like, it's funny, they're wealthy, but they're not wealthy.
Right.
So they don't have the money to spend on the Lakers that like he's going to have.
Right.
So Laker fans were like, yay, we got a real rich person to own the Lakers. Yay.
Some Lakers fans.
yeah, some Lakers fans. But Lakers fans were generally like thought he's got more money, he can do things that the Buss family couldn't afford to do. And then this past week, we all woke up and found out that Mark Walter, after owning the team for 9 months, had sold the team to Joshua Kushner, Jared's brother, and Bob Iger, who's the former CEO of Disney. And just everybody woke up. And when I tell you that the NBA world was like, what the bleep just happened?
Yeah.
Because the Lakers are the preeminent basketball franchise in the NBA. Nobody's ever flipped a basketball franchise.
Right.
And if you buy it usually because you want it, not because you're investing in it. And the crazy part is when he bought the Lakers for $10 billion 9 months ago. He sold it to Bob Iger and Joshua Kushner for $12.5 billion. So somehow in the last 9-10 months, the Lakers have accrued $2.5 billion worth of value. And if that was true, and he didn't sell it on the open market, he didn't announce, I'm thinking about selling the Lakers. We just woke up and he had sold it to these people. And there's more pieces of it. Like these two guys were trying to get the NBA franchise in Vegas. That was getting expensive. So people think they were like, well, instead of buying one there, we should buy one here. Mark Walter is also being investigated by the SEC for some fraud that he's done through
insurance companies.
Insurance fraud.
Yeah.
So people are thinking maybe he needs the cash, or maybe by selling it to a Kushner, he can get friendly with Trump. And so maybe that'll help his SEC
But
case.
he's not that Kushner, allegedly.
Yeah, people say that Joshua Kushner is a lifelong Democrat, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean? He's not Elizabeth Warren. He's not Abdul El Sayed.
Right. He's still buying a team across the country where he's not.
I think his political party is probably mostly billionaire. Yeah. No, I think so. To me, it's like, Bill Maher is apparently a Democrat, or was up until this week.
Right.
What does that mean?
Right.
I don't know what that means. So, and Iger's also thought to be as a Democrat.
But this is a lot of billionaire money in our sports.
And
yet another place the billionaires are showing
and
up.
sports is one of the last places where people actually care about the thing forever. Mm-hmm. So if you're a Laker fan, you're a Laker fan your whole life, and you will constantly be funneling money to the Lakers.
Yeah.
So it's it's like one of the last good solid investments, and it's sort of a crown jewel to own a sports team because there's only a limited amount of
and
them.
the Lakers, it's LA, it's Hollywood.
But it's also like because it is a Kushner, even if it's the good Kushner, which sounds like a bad CBS drama, the good Kushner. That it seems too close, and he's being investigated by the federal government. It seems something's happening here.
Yeah.
So, and also the fact that this guy just sold it to these two people. When if I own the Lakers and I decided to sell it, I would tell everybody because in theory, you'd want to get the most money possible. And also the fact you own them for 9 months is like nobody's ever done that before.
But the fans and consumers, I mean, I can't go to a Warriors game. I went to a Valkyries game when I got resale tickets.
Yeah.
But it's like the consumers are losing.
Going to a game is not a realistic thing for most Americans. But you can buy the jersey. You can bet on the game.
There's
all these ways in which they can separate you from your money.
The stats are so scary about Gen Z who are diversifying their retirement portfolios by adding sports betting in there.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that stat this week.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't do it.
Yeah.
But then you saw that Washington State came out and is saying, listen, Kalshi, you can't do sports betting in our state. The same laws are here, and now you're online and trying to be sneaky and cool about it. It still doesn't work for us. No. So that was kind of an interesting
I just think that this is one of those things this is why I follow sports, because something is happening here that is not on the up and up, that actually does involve our president, our politics. And the funny thing is ESPN they cleared out a bunch of left-leaning reporters years ago after post-2020 because they were like, we don't want politics in our sports. But now this week on ESPN, Trump was on the Patriot games on ESPN sitting next to Pat McAfee, who's ESPN's highest paid employee. So you can't – and then to hear NBA reporters try to report on this story of the Lakers, they all have this moment of like, I don't want to bring in politics because you can't talk about this story without talking about Trump.
Right.
You can't talk about
And Iger, too, right?
Yeah, and Iger
owned
Well, he was
Disney.
He was the CEO of Disney, and at one point was talking about running for president. So
that's right. I forgot that.
So you could look at this as
comminglings.
You could look at this as a sports story, but it's also just thinking about, again, the grift is happening in real time. Like something's grift. There's a grift here. We just haven't figured out exactly which way the grift is going. But you can't have rich guy who's being investigated by the federal government for fraud sells his team to the brother of the son-in-law of the president overnight. Without being like, something's happening here.
Yeah. It's so interesting that you said, people get fixated and they have these lifelong affairs with these sports team, and it is kind of the last monoculture.
Yeah.
And also, sports is so unifying.
Yes, it can, yes.
With so many different people. And so we've put out this new film, and you graciously watched it yesterday. Well, we're about to. It's called The Work in Progress. And people are actually talking to each other in this film. And this question about, can Americans still talk to each other? It's touch and go. But I think it's go. I think they can. And we're going to watch the trailer of the new film that Robert Reich has executive produced, and he's in it for a bit. It's called The Work in Progress, and the website is theworkinprogressfilm.com. So let's take a look.
What do we owe each other as members of the same society? That's the question central to the 250th anniversary. We are not listening to each other.
Well, I'll shake your hand first.
Yeah.
One word to describe America.
But I think a word that I would describe America is freedom.
The word that immediately came to mind was fractured.
Insatiable.
First, introduce yourselves.
Shuffle the deck of cards.
Take turns answering questions. What do we owe each other as Americans?
Respect.
This question can get a little tricky.
I try to listen more than talk.
Can you guys tell us anything that you're hopeful about?
How would you define patriotism?
What do you consider to be hard work?
Doing this.
I think what's great about America, it's an imperfect place that you address as you go.
We owe other Americans a chance for everything.
What do you think is unfair?
Who belongs in America? Am I American? Am I Hawaiian still?
I am a citizen. I vote. I pay my taxes. I am American. And I want to make this country better.
Part of democracy is deliberation.
No, it's okay to disagree.
Connect all these dots, and you've got America 2026. The strength, then also the fragility.
Oh, look at you all.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I'm jealous.
Oh, jealous? In what way?
No, it's great. It's great. I love the fact.
You wanted to come with us?
Yeah, I wanted to come with you. I never get invited until after it's done.
Darn it.
I'm sure I'll be asked to do a moderated
I forgot to
conversation.
invite you to Hawaii. That was the other place we went.
Yeah, no, that's good. Hawaii is. I'm glad you went to Hawaii because Hawaii is often forgotten in these discussions about America as a way to to really experience America from a very different angle and to talk about Hawaii from Hawaiians' perspective,
exactly,
not from the resort perspective,
right,
not as a America's tourism backyard,
right.
And so Hawaii, we did Hawaii twice on United Shades, and both times I came away being like, thank God I know this about this place now. So
the newest state,
yeah.
But they've been around for so darn long. They're like, hello.
And if you talk to the native Hawaiians, they're like, we never agreed to be a state.
Yep.
It's you call us a state. We're still, a lot of them are still we're still looking towards our sovereignty.
Right. But we had a mix of young people saying that, old people saying that, and then they switched.
Yeah.
So these conversations, and people were so eager to have, they were on average, they were very civil and eye-opening. No one was screaming at each other.
Yeah.
I mean, there were disagreements.
Yeah.
And you can't quite tell who is what
no, but that's
ideology.
Great. That's great. I mean,
we say it at the end.
And I love the fact that it's coming out this year. I think the thing that media in this kind often does a poor job is the quick release, because this is neat. We need this now. In another media landscape, you all would have worked on this for 2 years and then put it out.
Kamau, we started shooting in January.
That's what I'm saying. This is this is the way. And also, can I sign up for the next one?
Yeah, exactly.
No, but this is, I mean, because I also see that could be a series, because I think
Yes.
those are recurring conversations.
So it's the work in progress
cards.
film.com,
Yeah.
the work in progress film.com. But so our director, Ian Chaney, has been incredible. He's moved so fast. And the producing team was so great. So they would call all these places and they would start with someone who says, talk to someone. And then they would talk to someone else and they'd say, go to the community garden. And have you been to the church down the street? And the mariachi band.
Or everybody's
does
also like,
Thursdays.
oh, you need to talk to. There's always
Right.
that. But, you don't need. You need to talk to Gladys.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, who's Gladys? You'll see.
Oh, and we did.
Yeah,
Thank God for Gladys.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone enjoys it, and we're excited to put it in theaters. We'll probably do another live watch along.
Great.
Because there is something about joining with community. I think we're all sick of doing it alone with our phones inside our eyeballs.
Yep.
I don't know. We need to do more in person. Do you have plans to do more things like going to Minneapolis and doing stuff on the ground?
I would love to. I just have to figure out. It's like the great thing. I got to go to Minneapolis because of the McKnight Foundation in Minneapolis, who helped me, a family foundation who helped make that happen. So I think if I can figure out people to partner with like that, then the work really gets done better than if I have to put it all on my own shoulders. So yeah. But I would love to. That work was like. That's the best work I've done all year, and the best work I've done in a long time, because it's like I just like this. Like we shot it, it's out within a month, or it's out, and I still have pieces of it that I haven't put out just because I got onto other projects. So there will be more.
And with documentaries, that is incredibly difficult.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And the
you have to go
feature
through all the
film
footage.
world is like, we don't understand. We're like, we have a movie, it's going to come out, and they're like, can you show us? And we said, nope. You can see a trailer.
Which I think a lot of this is, and I think this is also good because a lot of the content creators now who are maybe finding their way into documentary came up in a landscape of like, I taped it today and I'm putting it out tonight. You know what I mean? So like, I think that sort of speed and also the technology and all of this stuff is like, you're not shooting on film. At least I don't think you were.
No.
So you're not. So you don't have the speed of production has sped up significantly.
Right.
So yeah, good for you for putting it out quickly. I'm sure it was a lot of work, but
So much work, and we have a lot of original music in it, which is fantastic. These musicians. There's a guy who is a barber, and when he's not a blues star, and he plays on a cigar.
I saw that.
Guitar.
Yeah.
Like it's incredible to get musicians in these different settings.
And it's also beautifully shot. Like it doesn't look like you put it together quickly, obviously.
No,
so
it was the
not
film
that
team.
you put it together on a schedule, but it doesn't look like it was done hastily.
No.
Quickly, but not hastily.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had incredible.
You can always tell because there's B-roll.
Yadagari Moreno. Who else? Ezra Wolfinger. All these people who were doing the camera work were incredible, and all our producers. Well, this has been so fun while the cat's away. I mean, this is just us without Robert Reich, but I feel like we probably did him proud.
I just want to appreciate I get so much love from the people who watch this when I'm on, and so I want to be clear. I'm not trying to replace Robert Reich. I just answered the call because he's out of town.
trying to replace Robert.
That's you.
I'm in his chair.
That's you. But
no one can replace him.
I love being a part of this, and I love the people who support this work, and thank you for having me.
It's so great. We want you on more. And keep doing what you're doing on Substack and everywhere else. It's needed.
I got no choice. I got 3 kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want to meet them.
You should meet them.
Okay. I'm going to make that happen.
Okay.
Thank you all. We will see you next week, and Bob will be back to do his closing moments of hope. But I think we'll just leave it here and say thank you for joining us for coffee and banter and analysis. And we will see you, or I will, in a week.